What's up, everybody? Coach D. Durrell Spears once again. It's gonna be a hot one.
If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, rubbing it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, using the breaststroke, calling it the breaststroke. If you don't know me, I can tell you about me. I've been doing this for years. Can't nobody stop me. I use my hand, my fingers, my tongue, and dick and all and all. I know that you want it all. You can pick one or pick it all. Baby, I can make you come out all over. Lay you on your back and don't wanna turn over. I can make you wanna come back for more and more. Really, for sure, for sure. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, rubbing it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, using the breaststroke, calling it the breaststroke. One day, a lady from California called me. She said she needed a massage and she feeling horny. She said she needs someone to give her all the special services she needs. I said, oh, yes indeed. She said she wants someone to go deeper, 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 deeper with pressure. Using your tongue and your fingers. She wants to enjoy all that you have to give. Giving her body chills. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, rubbing it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, using the breaststroke, calling it the breaststroke. Do you mind if I touch you all over your body? When you're touching me, all over my body, you wanna be more and more, wanna be more and more. Squeezing tight, slower and slower, squeezing slower and slower. Long as our breaststrokes, squeezing her hands while she doing the most. You say, calm down, you're making too much noise. This is reminding her of using sex toys. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, licking it down, licking it down, baby. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, rubbing it down, licking it Chat, sing with me. Fuck the DBA. Fuck the DBA. Fuck the DBA. Dumb bitch asses. Fuck the DBA. To the ladies in the sector, shake that ass, 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 shake that ass. To them ladies in the sector, shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, and just shake it real fast. Bitch ass nigga named Alan Logic. Yeah, we know you LGBT in the closet. Yeah, motherfucker, yeah, we say it to your face. Motherfucker can't even keep a care of me. Woo! Bitch ass nigga named Alan Logic. Yeah, we know you LGBT in the closet. Yeah, motherfucker, yeah, we say it to your face. Motherfucker can't even keep a care of me. Woo!
A care of me.
Fuck the DBA. Chat, sing with me. Fuck the DBA. Fuck the DBA. Fuck the DBA. Dumb bitch asses. Fuck the DBA. To the ladies in the sector, shake that ass, 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 shake that ass. To them ladies in the sector, shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, and just shake it real fast. Pissy ass nigga named K.I.P. Crying ass nigga named motherfucking P. You see him on the panel, yeah, they talking about me. Yeah, you see him in the sector, yeah, they talking about D. Pussy ass nigga, silly ass nigga, old ass, worn out, dumb ass nigga. You see them all around in the motherfucking sector. They mad that they can't be the Godfather. Fuck the DBA. Fuck the DBA. Chat, sing with me. Fuck the DBA. Fuck the DBA. Fuck the DBA. Dumb bitch asses. Fuck the DBA.
Welcome, everybody. This is Coach D. Darrell Spears here once again. Happy to be here with each and every one of you tonight on this Friday night. I know there's a lot of people doing content tonight in the sector. Shout out to everybody in the black church sector. Shout out to everybody that I know in the black sector, the beef sector, the tea sector, the Umar Johnson sector. We're going to have a nice one today. We're going to discuss some things related to the interview with Tasha K and Lavontraye Andrews. Now, to get started, for those that are wondering why I decided to do this content, it's because, number one, I've been following the church sector for now well over a year, almost over a year. Larry Reed actually mentioned my channel in a bullshit lawsuit dealing with Daryl Moore and the fact that I've been vested in wanting to understand the truth. Then we find out, according to Tasha K, he confessed to doing some things. Now, I'm not going to get into that today. I'm just going to get to the purpose of my particular video, which is about the interview. So, to let everybody know, I decided to buy Tasha K's subscription. I did decide to buy her subscription, and I got a plethora of videos, and I'm going to review every video about this situation with Larry Reed and his accuser and the Tasha K situation. I'm going, because I want you all to know, and you will find out later in the video, that there will be a interview with his wife, Lavontraye's wife, and his mother. And she will interview him again to kind of, I guess, in summary, talk in more detail about his experience and what he's doing and everything. And they are going to discuss more things about Larry Reed that maybe he may have missed in the first video. And I want you all to notice. I want y'all to know this, man. The video was just the interview when he started getting into the last hour and a half of getting into what happened to him. Larry Reed is disgusting. He is a disgusting, exploitive man that uses religion. See, this is people like Larry Reed is why so many black people and other people throughout the world are turned off by Christianity. People like Larry Reed is the reason why people don't go to church. They don't trust anybody. They don't give a damn if it's your son or your daughters. I would encourage any parent to not trust your children around these types of people. And he exemplifies the type of person you should not want. I'm going to say this. I'm going to preface this. If you find anybody in any type of church or organization that is a bit overzealous about your children staying with them or spending time with them, that's a warning sign something is not right. No one should be offering their home to people they don't know, whether you're in that congregation or not, unless you are family and you know them well enough to offer this. Yes, Dr. Dingleberry is pathetic. And he just the process of the how he molded and he groomed this young man, which now is, older now, but and I don't want to hear this shit about age of consent. The bottom line, he was a fucking teenager. And Larry Reed was a grown ass man. And it's no way you should not be, as a preacher, discussing sex and sexual acts with a minor. Not in the manner of sexual education, but in the manner of what you're gonna be when you grow up. You're gonna become a womanizer, or you're gonna become gay. This shit was disgusting. And I'm gonna tell you all, man. I deal with sexual abuse all the time in all different types, shapes, and form. I've dealt with sexual abuse in churches. I've dealt with a lot of sexual exploitative cases with teachers and students because Texas leads the nation in that bullshit. And families, especially families. And this is one of the sickest. I will say this is one of the sickest. Not by far, because I've had stuff worse than this, but this was one of the most sickest situations I've seen, how someone was basically groomed because you sought after a kid that just wanted money to do the things he wanted to do like any other kid. And this is the bullshit that Larry Reed did. This is the shit that he did. And so I am going to um play the video. But I'm just letting you all know that this is going to be disgusting. You're going to hear some disgusting acts. You are going to hear some disgusting acts. You're going to see how this guy that I'm showing right here was coerced into doing shit because of being financially disadvantaged. You see, predators seek after that prey. Predators study, they study their victims before they go in. They don't just willfully just go in and, oh, I want you to sleep with. No, 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 no. The cunning acts of Larry Reed was despicable of how he sought this young man out. And he slowly but surely tried to groom him into doing despicable sexual acts. This man has no boundaries. He has no morals. He's evil. He should not be in anybody's pulpit speaking of God. See that face that you see of Tasha K? Her mannerisms and her facial expression is in response to the disgusting shit that Larry Reed had this guy doing. And the fact of the matter is, Larry Reed wanted him to do even more disgusting shit that he claimed that he did not do. He refused to do certain things, and we're going to get into that. Now, the video itself, I'm gonna say this. She tried to go into his background, the fact that he played the drums and all these different things that he did. She kind of tried to tap into um how Lavontraye developed as a individual and how his introduction to Larry Reed changed his whole life, which it did for the worse. So I just want to highlight that. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to screen share and we're going to touch upon the things that were done. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. Give me a second, guys. I think the sound, can you all hear? I don't think the sound came out real good. If you can't, were you all able to hear anything? If you could hear, press one. Like, because I played about a minute of it. I don't think you all heard it. Um, okay, it was no sound. Okay. So so let me take care of something. It's not going through. Um, I do apologize. Yes, people are still giving him money. They are, unfortunately. So let me check something out right quick so I can um try to get this audio together. Okay, guys, let me know if you can hear this. If you can hear this, please let me know.
Typical life as a kid, nothing.
What about high school?
High school was a little different, and we probably can get more into that. I don't know later if you want to.
But like, I guess entering into high school, middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So entering into high school, still an athlete.
Okay.
At that point, I was already playing drums and like making money for it.
Okay.
At that point, so I was still really into music.
Now, were you part of a church when you were playing drums when you were younger?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you did side gigs as well too.
I did. So it was, at that time it was only gospel. So I would play for like a gospel artist in my city and that kind of thing. But,
okay.
Yeah, I would play. I played for played for 2 churches consistently at one point, and it was like every now and then an artist in the city was like, "I need a drummer," that kind of thing. And I was just trying to like get my bearings, kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, but music has always been a part of what I do. Okay. Yeah, in some way. So
that's cool. I always wish I had rhythm.
It's not too late. You can walk.
Dance.
Right? You can walk?
Barely.
Okay.
And I be tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought on my own damn. So did they start within 9 months to a year, or was it, when you think about it, did it start the moment you came into the church?
Now, I want to preface here that at this point, this is more of an introduction in which Tasha K is trying to understand his background, his family, and how he met Larry Reed and how he was introduced to Larry Reed's church.
I think it would now, just to be clear, we're talking about Reed.
Larry
to be clear.
Correct.
So when I say grooming, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right. I would have to say it started probably earlier than that. If I think about it, really, because it would just be certain moments that would happen, and so like when I was talking about this off camera, one of the first moments that I remember having this was very like short after when I first came to the church. He had a preaching engagement in Mooresville. It's right outside of Charlotte. Okay. And we were walking through. He had to run into Walmart or something. We walked through Walmart, and he was just talking to me. He was asking me certain questions, that kind of thing. And I remember him saying to me, he said, and like I said, like I told you with my memory, like if a moment has an impact on me emotionally, I can recall it. Like everything about the moment. I remember the shirt on the rack behind him. Like that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so we were walking through, and he said, after I was asked the question he asked me, and he said, Trey, he said, if somebody wanted to manipulate you, they could. It would be easy to manipulate. Right. And I remember looking at him like.
Now I want to stop there. What does a grown ass man? Why is a grown ass man talking to a young 14-year-old kid about if somebody wants to manipulate you, they could? See, this is the start of the grooming process to test him out mentally.
Like, what you mean? Why you say that? He said, I can just tell. I can just tell, like somebody that was, if they're smarter than you, they can manipulate you.
And it just came random.
Yeah, it was super random. And I said, my opinion is, in that moment, he was already like teeing up the move. Like, all right, so this could be something at some point. You know, possibly, right? And
wait,
the whole thing was like, he was very in everybody's life, like very in their life. Like that's just the only way to put it. Like the decisions that they made, to the extent of if they wanted to get another vehicle, like he would be a part of that facilitating.
Now I want to pause there, because what preacher or pastor, bishop, prophet has any business making financial decisions for other people? What person of the cloth has any business being overly exposed and being overly involved in people's personal lives? And this is what this sounds like a cult. When you start telling people what to wear, what kind of car, what kind of house to what kind of house to buy. Even later on in the video, he even tried to tell Tasha K how to wear her hairstyles. See, this is not what pastors or preachers are supposed to be doing. Something is innately wrong with this man, Larry Reed.
Or how they dress, like he would be a part of that. The women and the men, you know, like saying like this is what you should look like. That kind of really involved in everybody's life. And
I one day I do a show.
Okay.
And I loved my hair. My husband loved my hair.
She's about to go into it
He
now.
called me after I did a show and was like, Tasha, don't you ever wear your hair like that again.
Oh, Reed?
Yeah, Larry Reed. I said, what? What are you talking about? And he was like, don't do that. I watched that show and that hair, it just did something to me. Don't ever wear your hair like that again. I just...
Now, what kind of straight heterosexual man is worried about another woman's hair to the point where it did something to me? And notice, Larry Reed is very good at mixing his opinions and that evil shit that he thinks about with the word of God, and it touched my spirit, and you know it affected my soul and all this other kind of shit to a woman he didn't even know that well. But for you to have the audacity to contact this woman just to let her know, I don't like the way your hair is being styled, and don't do it again.
I had to call and tell you that. I said, now in my mind, I'm like, nigga.
Right, yeah.
I'm wearing it now.
Get into it.
Handful. My mind, I'm like,
Boy.
only man that can tell me don't wear my hair like that again is Sheckler H. Kelly.
Right.
Because he paying for it.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. It was just weird to me because I was just like, what man does it? What people don't do, unless they're your girlfriend. Like, girl, I saw that hairstyle. Don't do that no more. But like, he called me and it was like,
yeah, he knows you're married, right?
yes. And he was always
and he didn't care.
Inappropriate as far as like, you know, I remember one day he was getting a massage and I was like, what are you doing getting a massage? Oh, I travel with my masseuse. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, but you can massage me if you want to.
This nigga, man.
So she's claiming he allegedly even made moves at her.
I said, bye. I just hung up.
That's crazy. And he knows that you're married.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I think he did it just to kind of...
No, he wanted to see. Had you played into it, I know this dude. Had you been like, well, maybe. Had you played into it a little bit, I promise you he was going to explore it more. He was going to at least try to see, like, oh, well, could she? Like, he was going to try to figure it out. Had you played into it just a little bit, well, I don't even know the dynamic of what y'all relationship was, but had you played into it just a little bit, I promise you he was going, let me see. You know, because, like, my opinion is he's gay. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. If they're like people being gay in general.
Right.
But my problem with him is it's like he plays both, you know, because I've watched you tell people they're going to hell because they're gay. As a pastor. I've seen you do it on the pulpit. But now you just advocate because it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's, I don't know. I feel like, well, the point I was getting at is he has a type.
And I have, like, I have video, like, recordings of him because he was like, we had a conversation. And we're going to get back to your grooming in just a second. Yeah. We had a conversation and he told me, he was like, I had a suck dick? I have. Has somebody sucked my dick? I have. Has somebody rolled my dick? I have. And so I just kind of.
Did you all hear that? This man telling another woman, have I sucked a D? Have I rolled a D? Have I did this? And I have. And he said it proudly. And notice when Tasha K talks in reference to what Larry Reed says, she tries to use his accent and his manner because he has a very effeminate uh, way of speaking, his voice projection and mannerisms. And why would you tell a person, a married woman, what I have not done? And this is supposed to be a man of God.
Kind of was like, but you said you weren't gay when we talked. I'm not gay. I don't consider myself gay because I'm not with nobody. So that's just stuff that I did. But did I do it when I was molested?
And yes, Larry Reed was once a victim. And just like most predators start off as victims. And if they don't get help, they will become a predator. Larry Reed behavior typifies that. The fact that he never got help for the fact that he was molested. And what many people that engage in these type of behaviors, they have a tendency to normalize and repeat these behaviors in an effort to enjoy it and to prey on others to do the same thing. Most predators were once victims. Let's continue.
No, but I did those things on my own consensually, and I was just like, okay, whatever. It's not even my business, not my man. I don't care. So the question. Kind of question, like, is it inappropriate or is this normal?
One of the main things I questioned immediately was like him and his wife not sleeping in the same room. That was like an immediate question because I'm like, I couldn't wait to get married. I'm like, yo, yeah, you know, like, yeah. I'm like, no, we're not about to sleep in different rooms. And so that was one of the first things that kind of stuck out to me. Like, why do they sleep in different rooms? Like, husband and wife, that's kind of weird. And then this whole dynamic with certain guys in the church at the time, like he would, like Shamarko, it is what it is. Like, they know.
He's the cake. He's Larry Reed's cake baker.
Yeah. So Shamarko.
Yeah.
Now, guys, also in the video, Shamarko came up a ton of times. I don't know what's up with their relationship. If they have a mentee mentor relationship, Shamarko is getting some bread. I don't know. I think that this needs to be explored a little bit more because it's obvious certain people in that church had certain positions, and it would not be illogical to make inferences of the fact that Larry Reed probably slept with a lot of the men that attended his church. Shamarko probably won also. Just that's just me making an inference. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just giving my perspective.
And let me just say this. Like, I'm gonna say this because I know it's been recorded. Okay. I love Shamarko. Okay. I had a lot of love for Shamarko. Okay. I probably would have took a bullet for him at the time. I loved him that much. This scenario.
Did you look at him like more as a father figure?
For sure. Okay.
Because your dad wasn't in the picture at the time when you were attending the church.
No, Shamarko is why I love Cologne to this day. Okay. Shamarko is why certain aspects of my personality I like I like the way he's really clean guy. Yeah. That's like I said, I ain't even living his life.
Because it would be like random shit that come out of his mouth, and it's like, nobody's talking about that.
Talk about that, yeah.
You know,
it's a character flaw for him. Yeah. He has this thing where he has to like only with certain people. He has to decide what your pedigree is, but to do that, like before y'all even had a conversation, he decided what your pedigree was. And he's like, okay, I need to be able to. I need her to think that I'm this. So when we have a conversation, I'm going to make sure that it doesn't get too, because I want her to know that I have value too. So I'm gonna position certain conversations and randomly bring up shit about who I know, just so she knows, oh, he's somebody of value too. Like he's not. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a mind game with himself. Yeah. You know, trying to
I saw straight through that. And I would never want to have like deep conversations with him at all. So because it was just like it always turned into something materialistic or just something just like, what the fuck are we talking about right now? Like, no. You don't ever see me sitting around talking about what I have. Like you go buy diamonds, I'm at the beauty supply store. Why realistically I lose jewelry? Only piece of jewelry I don't lose is my wedding band. Rest of the shit I could care less. You understand? Me, I'm not materialistic like that. So I clothes are clothes. Who's gonna know I got on last season's 10 years ago? If it looked good, it looked good. So that's interesting that you said that.
Yeah, listen. I haven't been in this dude's life for a while, but I know this dude. He's the same person. He just got a little more money now. He's the exact same person, and it's sad, honestly. Yeah. He's a richer version of the same individual.
Well, he's definitely not rich, but
I don't know what his situation is, but what I'm saying is he has more money. I would assume.
Put it in a lawsuit. It's not rich.
Okay. Yeah. So
$40,000 a month, and you're giving Shamarco 27. It's a lot of money. You got all these rental properties you claim you got, even though I know they Airbnbs or whatever. Like, no, that's not money. And if you don't own nothing, you definitely don't have money. Yeah. So I know money. Yeah. So but let's.
Now I want to stop here because as we hear and listen to what Tasha K is stating, she obviously had a very close relationship with Larry Reid, and to me, I think that their relationship was a lot more complex and a lot closer than what both are giving off, are willing to admit to, because they're talking about intimate things, they're talking about personal things, they're going shopping together, they're talking about clothes, jewelry, all these different things. And the fact of the matter is, Tasha K helped Conscious TV's channel. Tasha K and Larry Reid were confidants in one another. Now, Larry may have went left and said crazy things, but Tasha K continued to be friends with this guy. Tasha K did content with this guy. He actually was interviewed by her, and I would like to know, what was the activating event that caused her to change? She obviously knows what he owns and what he don't own, how much money. They talked. There's no way something occurred. And this is just, to me, this is not just because of the accuser or anything dealing with Daryl Moore or what have you. Something occurred that made this woman, because this information was out for years while she was friends with him. She knew everything that is coming out has been stated by other people prior to her doing her investigation and doing interview. So what happened that you decided to no longer listen to him, no longer be friends with him or support him, and it led you to interviewing this man Lavontraye about his experience? See, these are the untold dynamics of their relationship, of why this even took place in the first place.
Let's go, because I know I don't want to. Are you comfortable with going into the acts?
Oh, that's why we're here. Like, I've done the work. And I think that's a really important piece to discuss for several reasons. Okay. One of them is this narrative that he's trying to create about me being so angry with like my whole reason for this, You know, even me doing this interview, he feels like it's because I'm angry with him. And then I went to these tests because he was saying like he said he had some tests. Actually, because he asked me, he said that I think I was gay. But I think he asked me if I thought I was gay, and I said no, I was gay. And then he was like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure." And he kept probing, right? And like the way that he was probing was like should I be considering if I'm gay? You know, I'm thinking that to myself, like the way the way the questions was going.
Yeah.
Like, should I?
Now, what he just stated, should I be considering if I'm gay? This is what predators do in trying to mix people up. They start asking questions, saying things to get people to question who they are and to follow whatever behaviors that they want them to do. So at this point, he's at about 14 years old. Larry Reed is having sexual conversations with him, and the kid is questioning whether or not he could be gay or not.
Should I be thinking? Like, considering that more? Like, what you getting at? You know? And so he was like, well, I have some tests I can do that would help you determine if you're gay. And because
yes, he stated there are tests. See, this is the bullshit that go on in these cults. So all of a sudden, Larry Reed wants to be a clinician and bring about some level of testing of whether or not you are gay or not. Some unquantifiable bullshit. Some shit about you're gonna go through my test and then we'll determine what you are. This is some sick shit.
At the end of the questioning, I'm like, yo, am I gay? Like, no, I don't know. Like, no, I don't know. I'm trying to am I gay? Like, yeah, I might be. Like, I'm trying to figure it out, right? Yeah. Like how he's questioning me. And so he said, I got some tests I can do. I'm like, well, shit, I need to know because I don't think I'm gay, but if you think I might be, let's figure it out. Okay. You know, let's get through it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so he told me, he said, I got these tests, and I said, all right, well, I'm ready to do them because I need to know. I didn't know if I'm gay. And it literally was like this. It literally was like, because my mind, I was so impressionable at the time. So and this is part of why I was angry. At times it was like, yo, why didn't you know? Why didn't you know? So I had to go through that whole process too, you know, of like even forgiving myself. Yeah. Because like the version of who I am today, that could never happen. What was the test? Okay, so it took him like a week to do it, a week or two. It took him a little bit. So he let you fester on it. Yeah, and I'm like, can we get to this? Yeah, I'm like, and I would say it in front of people, like in a way that he would know what I'm talking about. What are you gonna do?
The testing was basically psychological grooming.
These tests, man, I didn't know. What you talking about? Like, when we gonna do them? Like, I'm not. I mean, it's funny now, but as a child, I would not be laughing. You're a child. Yeah. It's thinking back, it's comical now for sure. It's definitely got some humor to it, but I was dead serious. Like, man, like I need to know. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, all right. Finally, he called. So he called me to his room. Now, were you living with him? Yeah, I was living with him at the time. Okay. Yeah, I was living with him at the time. Because there was a few times where I moved in, moved out, moved in, moved out. It was like a couple times that happened. But this was one of the spaces. Before you get into the test, what made you move in with him? So what was that? How did that even transpire? So initially, I moved in with him because the young lady that I ended up having a sexual relationship with, we were in the same house, and so they wanted me to move.
Now, this is something that I would have liked to have had more clarity. He kept referring to this lady that was in the house that he was having sex with. And he did not. Now, this lady, or this was, I don't know if this was, he said lady, I don't know if this was a teenage girl or if this was an adult woman. But he keeps saying the lady he had sex with. And this was stated throughout the video. He never gave clarity to that. But I'm going to continue.
With him, So me and her went in the same house together.
So they found out about you guys.
Yeah.
But why weren't you staying with your mom?
So my mom at the time, she lived not far, but it was like a situation like when she came to the church, she was really intent about me having positive male role models.
Okay.
At the time, it was really intent.
And so she thought because Larry was a preacher that he was a positive male role. See, this is the con game that when you hear about paraphilic behavior, this is the mind game that these guys do to convince people that they can be trusted. And once they can be trusted, they'll become a predator towards your children.
About making sure, like, okay, and they basically told her, like the stuff that we all knew, like how controlling he was, and remember that was like this thing with like she came to pick up the children one time, and it became like this big ordeal at the church. I remember even like she reached out to my wife when she found out that he was about to start another church. This was in Atlanta. And she was like at the time, I don't even know if she still cursed, but she cursed at the time. And she was like, y'all better not go back to that damn church. Like she texted my wife back. She was like, y'all better not go. And she's like, and my wife was like at the time, like, what? I'll die first. Like, no, never, Yeah. And so like just because of like I feel like those spaces allow her to be honest. But I feel like that's always been there. So like when they were separated, that's when she was her most honest. But when they're together, it's like I gotta be a version of myself. I think that's everybody around.
Passive one.
Yeah. Okay. I really think that's everybody, especially now.
Because I mean, he tells everybody she left me for a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you didn't leave her for a woman. You just fucked them in. So was she wrong within her right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. So let's talk about these tests that he wanted to run on you to see if you were gay or going to be a womanizer.
Yeah.
So what would it describe the tests?
Okay, so he had me come in his room, and he had a blanket. He was wrapping a blanket. It was a zebra print blanket, black and white zebra print.
Zebra print. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he ended up wrapping the blanket, which he actually years later ended up giving to me. He gave me the blanket years later because he said it was the blanket. It was the blanket that he prayed in, and he was like, "Yeah."
But he was wrapped up naked in it.
He was wrapped up naked in the blanket. I just like when I was preparing for this. When I was preparing for this, I remembered that I forgot. Okay. When I was preparing for this, I said, "Yo, he gave me that blanket. This is the same blanket. Gave me the blanket. That's a whole other something." But so yeah, he told me to come in his room, and he had a wife beater on. I remember like seeing the wife beater, but he had the blanket right.
Now, guys, I want you to brace yourself for this disgusting ass act because this is cringeworthy. You're going to cringe, but I just want you all just to brace yourself.
Wrapped around him, and he told me to take off all my clothes. And okay, I'm blindly listening because I just trust him this much. I trust him that much. I'm just like whatever he's saying, like I'm just going with it. So he told me to take off all of my clothes, and he told me to sit on beside him. And we were sitting in the Indian style. And he pulled his computer. It was an old Mac computer. Okay. And he put porn on. He put on gay porn. And he told me to watch it. And immediately when I saw what it was, I remember like physically feeling sick. I almost threw up. And I looked down. I was like, yo, I can't even look at that. I remember him laughing. Like he laughed. He was like, well, he's crazy. I was like, it was physically making me sick. I'm like, I can't look at that. I can't.
And you were sitting there butt naked.
I was sitting there naked.
Beside him, and he rapped, and y'all were on the floor.
I was sitting on the floor. He had a black futon and he was sitting right in front of the futon on the floor. And we both are like our back up against the futon. And he pulled out this computer and put this gay porn on. And what he was trying to do is to see if my body will respond to seeing two men together. He was trying to see if I would like get a sexual response from it. Like if I get hard or something like that. That's what he was trying to see.
And you were a teenager.
I was a teenager. I was
under 18.
Yeah. Yeah. I was repulsed by it. I was definitely a teenager. Yeah. I was a teenager. And I'm like, I can't look at that. I just can't look at that. And so he's laughing about it. And then after that, we started just talking after that.
And you're still sitting there naked.
I'm still naked the whole time. I'm one of them people, I'm like, even now, I'm like, I just get naked.
So Larry Reed made this guy, little kid, 14, 15 years old, take off his clothes while he wrapped up in a quilt or whatever and exposing this kid to gay porn.
Anyway, I'm comfortable with my body like this. But he from sports. Like it's just a body. You know what I'm saying? Like took showers with guys all the time playing sports, so they didn't go deep. But so we started talking, and I remember I was joking when I said it, but I told him I said when I go to college, I'm gonna be a stripper at night, so I can make money while I'm in school. I don't want to be broke while I'm in school, right? So I'm gonna be a male stripper. And I'll be able to, like, women will be, going crazy. I was talking like that. Yeah. And so he was like, yo, you do that? Like you want to do something like that? Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to do it. I just felt like it'd be something cool to do. He was like, okay. So he said, well, why don't you just do it now? I said, do what now? What you mean? He was like, why don't you, like, just film yourself dancing naked? And then maybe, like, that'll, like, make that feeling of wanting to be a stripper go away. And so I was like, okay. All right, okay. So I remember standing up, and he was like, well, he pulled his camera, pulled the computer, he turned the computer around and like turned the camera on the computer. And he was like, well, just dance. Like, just dance. He's like, we'll record it and you just dance. And I'm standing there naked. In my mind, confused as hell. For one, because I'm like, first, I'm not for the dance naked in my mind or something, but I didn't have the balls to be like, no. I didn't have the balls to just say no. Yeah. But I'm trying to make it I'm trying to present like I'm just like confused or like weird about like, But in my mind, I'm like, I'm not dancing naked. What are you talking about? And so he was like, well, why don't you just turn around and just turn around in a circle? So I started weirdly turning in a circle. And I look back and I see the cover doing this. See the cover moving like this. He started jacking off.
Yes, this sick bastard was jacking off while he had a naked kid in front of him. Larry Reed, quote unquote prophet.
So I can get through this shit and be done. You know what I'm saying? That was what I was thinking in my mind. And so that happened in that particular room. That happened a couple more times where it kind of transitioned from test. It transitioned from test. It then transitioned into some other shit. It became a service. So it was a time where I'm like, yo, I need to make some more money.
I remember you saying this during one of your phone interviews.
Did I say this before?
Or maybe you told me on the phone.
I think I told you on the phone.
Yeah. I know it was something about a phone. So
yeah.
And I think at that moment I was like, let's wait till we do the interview. I didn't want to get into it. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I'm talking about something.
But go ahead. Yeah, please elaborate.
So it became this thing. I was like, I need to make some money. When I was living with him, I said I need to make some more money to church. they weren't paying me at the time, and I'm like, I need to make some. I just don't want to have money.
But you was making money at the previous church you were at.
Yeah.
But
So
in Larry's church, they weren't paying you.
So when I first came to the church,
okay,
they paid me for a couple months. They were giving me $350 a month.
Mm-hmm.
A month. $350 a month, which is fine. I was a teenager, you know. But like in the grand scheme, I'm like, what's what? But yeah, they were giving me $350 a month at the time.
That's some good money for a teenager.
As a teenager, this is decent, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, I was making more than that though at the other church on a weekly basis. So that's why I was just like, you know. But so yeah, after the first couple months, but then they cut that off because it was probably like a year or two into being at the church. They were like, you know, if you are a member of the church, you shouldn't be paid for playing the instruments. And they stopped paying us entirely. Me and the other guy. It was just two of us. Okay. Yeah, but they stopped paying us entirely. We made no money from them for years. And he was a musician. Okay. You know, ex-musician. Yeah. And so you understand like how this works. But for whatever reason, he decided that this isn't something that, you know, musicians should get paid for, that part of the ministry. So so now I'm having this conversation with him because I'm no longer even getting the $350 that I was getting. Like I just want to have money on hand. Like, and I asked him like, yo, is that like extra chores I can do? Like, I can make sure the cars are washed or whatever. You know, just to make some extra money. And he was like, he said, we can figure it out. I said, we'll figure out something for you to do. And okay, well, you know, well, just let me know. You know, I'm you know, I just want to make sure I have some extra money. That's all I was trying to do. And maybe a week or two went by. And because I had to keep asking him, like, did you figure out something that I could do? And he said, well, let me put it together. I'm putting some stuff together, and I'll let you know. Okay. So he finally called me in the room one day, and he said, I came up with something you can do. I said, okay. I said, what's up? Talk to me. I'm thinking he's finna say something like, wash the dishes, make sure, like the car, the yard, or something. That's what I'm thinking where he going with it. I was not prepared for what he was about to say at all. It wasn't on my head at all. And he said, this is what we can do. Anytime that I feel horny, you can help me release. I said, like, what? Like, help you release? Like,
let me stop there. This man told this kid who was like 15 years old, anytime I need help with releasing, that's what you can provide for me. You can assist me in relieving myself in a sexual manner. And you just openly ask a kid this.
What does that look like? You mean like doing something to you? He was like, no. He said, I don't mean that. He said, you can just come in the room and take your clothes off and I'll jack off. And every time we do that, I'll save you $60. And just laying on his bed, and like I said, he gave it like this spiritual thing. Like he made it a spiritual thing. They gave it a spiritual thing. Like, sorry, like you're, because he was tired. Some reason he didn't want to be at the church, and so what the interaction that he and I was having, it's like I'm doing the prophet a service because, you know, he didn't want to be at church or for whatever reason.
These people felt this unholy man was a prophet.
And me being with him that night was helping him. You know, so it was like he gave it like that kind of connotation to like minimize it. So I'm like, yeah, like, okay, I'm doing him a favor. Like I'm able to like be of value to him. Like I'm protecting him. Like it was that kind of thing. Right. And Yeah, so that was the first time it happened, and then from there, it was just anytime he was feeling away, that's what he would initiate, and still trying to get me to do other things. He was still trying to like get me to do other things, but that was the furthest I would allow it to go. That's the furthest I would allow it to go.
Now he's saying Larry Reed was still trying to get him to do other things. Now we all know what those other things could have been.
Now, did you eventually climax doing those?
No, that happened. Yeah, I did.
In his mouth.
I think I did one time in his mouth. I think I did one time.
In the mouth, man. Larry Reed is a nasty motherfucker.
I think so. And then, but I think most of the time I think when he would feel it, then he would just finish it with jacking me. I think that's how it happened the majority of the time.
This shit is disgusting.
Well, that's what he was trying to communicate. Was the way that I saw it wasn't correct. You know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was this, and that was a manipulation that I had been thinking of the whole time anyway.
So what would he tell you when you came to him? Like, what you did kind of made me feel a certain way, question myself. Like, so what would he say?
He would just say, "Nah, Trey, like it's just you. Like, nah, it's our relationship was special. Our relationship was different, but it was never that. Like I'm always been me. Like I'm not that. I'm not a predator. I'm not those things. Our relationship was just different, and the things that I remember saying this specifically, the things that we did, God gave me a grace for. It was for me to protect you. That's why it was happening. It wasn't me trying to prey on you. It was God using me as a grace thing to just guide you. That's the way he would say it, And like one thing that he would say to those times was like, I'm able to rationalize that you knew then that it was wrong, and so this was like your way of kind of like, I guess, your insurance, if you could say. Like he would say to me like, you can never tell anybody, because if you tell somebody, I'm gonna deny it. And who they gonna believe, me or you?
Let me stop there. You see, this is the kind of shit that predators do. They try to take away the self-esteem, the self-value. They dehumanize. They get people to think that if you say something, you're going to be the one that's going to get in trouble, not me. I'm going to gaslight if you tell everybody what really happened, and people are going to go against you. My reason for falling out with the church sector was the fact that they were not trying to hear out any of the victims. They just willfully supported Larry Reed, which I found was disgusting. Let's continue.
That sticks out to me really loudly still. Like, who are they going to believe, me or you? Like, he was...
Him, and now you seeing him online, like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
And so I had to just read them again, and I'm like, fuck all the spiritual shit. There was one part that stood out, and so go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I'm glad you said that, but I was in like I said, this narrative about me being so angry. When you read the message, even with the context of what I was addressing, like, was it your experience that this is somebody that's angry? Like,
no.
With reading what I said?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
You didn't.
But now, like, I literally, like now, as I sit here now, I'm not angry, Reed. I'm not angry with him. That's why I can talk about this and laugh about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, this isn't about being vindictive or vengeance. It's not, none of that. It's what it is for me is you need to be accountable. Like, even when the word mistake is used, that doesn't remove accountability. So even if you were to describe what happened as a mistake, there's still accountability. And I think he's never been put in a position to just be accountable for his actions. And I think that's really what my goal is. Like, this could have gone a different way, you know, and I mean that. It could have gone a different way. And so this is my way of just being the person that holds you accountable.
We're gonna hold right there.
Cool.
Okay. So I want mom next.
Okay.
Wife next, and then we'll end with you.
Cool.
Those are going to be the next interviews. Now, that was just me giving a summarized, and I could have added other stuff, but some of that stuff was so disgusting. I felt that I wanted to give the parts that I think that resonated with me, and that kind of paints a picture of Larry Reed, the alleged perpetrator of this and predator. I believe what Lavontraye Andrews stated. I believe that Larry Reed did some horrific things to him, and I really think that Lavontraye would never tell the full story, because I think Larry Reed did some things to him that he may not want to admit, because then that would be, risking his man card, his manhood in some sense. And that was other things that were missed out. I can point out one. There was stuff about, you know, you know, about his finances. It was stuff about his wife, Larry's wife. There were things about, they never really slept in the same room together. The divorces. I mean, there was a lot of things about the church itself that had a cult-like environment fostered by Larry Reed. All of these things have come out. And there are people who are trying to hide this, that knew he was doing this evilness, and they cared less. This is the truth. So I'm going to send a link for anybody that wants to come up, and I'm going to just have a little discussion, chop it up with everybody on this, on what you think about what you heard. Again, I left a lot of things out. This was only based on summary to make my point, and my point that of what he did and how he did it, and how he slowly and gradually manipulated this kid at the time. And no 16-year-old would ever think he'd be in a room sitting there naked with his pastor. No one thinks like this. No 16-year-old thinks in those terms. Then you began to do this for money. Did it for money. And so that's what Larry Reed wanted. He wanted to make him desperate. He wanted him to feel like, hey, I'm here to save you. Therefore, in return, you need to do these sexual acts. Just a fact. And a lot of those things that were stated in this video, I greatly believe he probably is still doing these things. What's up, I Am Human First?
Hey man, what's up? How you doing this evening?
What's going on, brother?
Oh, not much. I just wanted to say a couple of things.
Sure.
Number one, I I haven't watched that interview completely yet. It was a long interview. I was taking notes while I was watching them, but I have to go back and watch it. But one of the things I was kind of disappointed with Tasha, and I'm noticing this is probably a consistent criticism. I would have liked a better timeline, establishment of timeline, and I don't feel that she did the best job in doing that and capturing everything. Because I think his first encounter with Larry Reed was when went over to Shamako house, and then that's when he went and he was bought underwear and he was made to try the underwear on. I think he described that as his first encounter, and we never really. Well, I have to go back and watch that interview to make sure and see how when that if that storyline came up. The other thing I want to say to you, man, I was watching Tasha K today, and she was playing Larry Reed's response. Behind
Hmm.
Patreon. Have you heard that yet?
I have not heard that yet, but I heard
Oh,
that he confessed. He pretty much stated what he did
oh yeah,
against. Yeah,
bruh,
I heard
bruh,
that he
bruh, bruh,
basically
bruh,
had he basically incriminated himself.
bruh. That was like the worst. Oh my gosh, I was like, it. This his interview is more damaging than Lavontraye. I mean, he did more damage. I'm like,
Right,
dude, when you get a chance, it was. I just saw it today on Tasha K. I know Miss T Pre. I don't know if she's still out there, but she saw it too. She can probably attest. That's the next interview you need to live stream his response because he just coughed up. He acknowledged everything. He acknowledged a $60 payment. He
right,
acknowledged that he took you to shopping. He acknowledged so much stuff, but he would how Larry is. He's shaky like me, shaky when he
right,
talk.
right.
So you got to hear that. But that's all I wanted to share with you, man.
So what he tried to do was make a spectacle of what he did, as if yeah, I
Uh-huh.
did it, because he knows the statute of limitations.
Um,
That's why he did
he,
it. Look
I
at the timing. Look at the timing of that.
you you know what I just read today. You know that dude Wiley.
Yes.
Now Wiley is we're I don't want to be condescending or disrespectful. Let's just say Wiley can be disrespectful at times. So one of the things is Wiley has done now that he's turning Larry Reed, he's been calling around to like BET because Larry Reed appeared in that gospel show or whatever.
Right.
And I think he might have lost his position. Well, they're gonna have a ruling. They're assessing his continuous with the broadcast or whatever, because
Right.
they have been made aware of the allegations. So
Mm-hmm.
he that may be a role, a position in entertainment that he's no longer affiliated with. So this thing that Larry did is he can't try this in the court of public. He can, if he want to remain a YouTuber, yeah. But if he's trying to make moves with the big dogs, he can't do this with this type of open allegation. He has to address this in a court, and I don't know why he should have wrote all these people that he had. He brought out Monday, and he should have took Lavontraye to court and had everyone come up and testify like he did, and put his case out there. But he to me, him not filing against Lavontraye really kind of confirms his story to a large degree.
Yeah, but this is the same thing why he didn't go on with Larry with Daryl Moore. I mean, he didn't want the discovery to come out.
Yeah.
The stuff that he did that would have came out in discovery. See, he's
Yeah.
trying his best to protect his image, what little image you have, but you can't. This is the thing, man. You can't do the things that you've done and said the things that you said and think that this is not the church, your church.
Hmm.
Your church is willing to overlook this, but the public, the public is not going to overlook this. And this is what he's treating this like like he could just get this shit like I tell my congregation something, yeah, I messed up, let's move on, and God, forgives everyone, and this is not how it works in the real world. This is not your congregation.
Yeah, that and that's one of the most for me disappointing, especially when it hit Whitehead. I was just trying to. I guess the only way I can track his support his is just to look at it, whether his video keeps to hitting his number, whether I see people unsubscribing, and I don't really see that impact as of yet. And it's really, I guess, disappointing. Maybe you can speak more to this, how Christian people are hanging in with him despite the criminating stuff. I mean, he's not even coming
Right?
off really believable. He's not really coming off like solid. I mean, Eddie Long was more convincing than him when his stuff
Facts.
came out. So,
Yeah. But Larry Reed has said so many things and done so many things. He's gotten no man. This guy has gotten away with so much stuff as far as what he said. And the bottom line is this, man. I know, and I've been hearing that a lot of his followers and subscribers are leaving. You know,
okay.
I've heard that on. Have you ever heard of a lady named Dr. Blue?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Man, Dr. Blue. It's two ladies that I watched that have criticized
Uh-huh.
Larry Reed. To me, better than the sector. I don't know if they're in the church sector, but they're kind of like they talk about this as this if it's like tea or gossip, whatever.
Mhm.
Dr. Blue, and it's another lady. I can't remember her name. Miss. I don't know why I can't remember her name, but I actually was thinking about trying to interview them or talk to them about this
Mhm.
because they give such good perspectives on this. You see, um, there are people you don't find. To me, you don't find a lot of people with channels. Excuse me, with channels who are critical of Larry Reed that are like following church,
Mhm.
content. But
Mhm.
these two ladies are. They follow church content, and to me, the stuff that they said about Larry Reed and their perspectives to me is probably some of the best channels.
Mhm.
Um, Even to me, I know people think about Daryl Moore and everything, but to me, some of the stuff that they say is even better than some of it, not all of it, but
Yeah.
they have followed Larry Reed just as much as Daryl
So is
in many
Dr.
respects.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I was just going to ask, is Dr. Blue a real doctor? I caught
No,
two or
I think she's that's just a YouTube.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she does sound very intellectual in her word, the way she articulates herself. I from what I saw, um, and I think I said Daryl and Marcellus was in one of her lives. I was
Oh, they
watching.
were okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
good because she
I can.
brings it, man.
Hmm.
She definitely has some good content, and I've been watching her for like the last week,
Okay.
week or so, and she's pretty good, man. I actually like. I love her content. You know what I'm saying, and I
Hmm.
think she gives very good points in her perspectives, and is well thought out, and sometimes it's just hey, it's just just giving the plain truth of what they think. So I like it a lot. So what's up, brother? The Don Dada.
Hey, Godfather, Master Godfather, man. You already know, man.
Propane. What's up, brother?
Look, I'm gonna just say this real quick about this the church sector, man. Look, if my pastor ever says I like giving head instead of getting it, you can miss me with the bullshit, man. Anything else you have to say, man? Like,
Yeah, right.
you know what I'm saying? So I see what's going on. I haven't really tapped into what everything that was going on with the Tasha K thing. I definitely did hear in the sector or whatever. You did $200 thing, paying how you want.
Yeah, which pissed off a bunch of people. They hated that. People did content about now all of a sudden
There's a what? There's a
they,
what?
they think I'm committing Medicaid fraud just to give $200. Okay, like that make any sense?
Wait a minute, that's right. You did drop 400. How much did you drop on Tasha K live that day?
Just 200.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, I saw that.
Now I've dropped money like that on other people. That's nothing new in
I'm
this
about
in
to
the
say, look,
sector.
man, the motherfucking Godfather pay how he weigh, man. He dished the money out, you know what I'm saying, to get his recognition to what the fuck he wants to say, and then if y'all want to follow up on what he's going to react on or recap, then that's up to y'all, man. But you know what I'm saying, like. Darrell a fucking player in the game, man. Actually, like he was a player before I was. It's like,
You crazy.
you know what I'm saying? But I like me sort of keeping up with this Larry Reed church sector shit, man. I mean, from the jump, I always was questioning. That's why I was spontaneous watch him. But once he said what he said about I like giving head
Yep.
instead of getting it, nigga, nigga.
Yes, that was, and he said it, man. But man, this man has talked about having sex with his own family members. This shit is crazy, man. Like, but when I did my research on that, like literally when I first started, this was back in 21, fall of 21. I want to say really November of 2021. And when I started going back to those old, man, I don't even know if some of those videos are still up.
Yeah.
But I did not understand.
Mhm.
I did not understand the context of the reality show because his wife was always infamous in the situation. And I did not understand how he would constantly talk about everything but God.
So
Everything but God. Seriously, like how, like, listen, let's listen to this. When you look at 90, I'm gonna say 70, I'm gonna say 80 to 90% of Larry Reed's content is not about God.
mhm.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
about it's about sex. It's about, you know, stuff he went through. It's about, other
Current time.
other preachers that he see. My thing is he's a big hypocrite because you spent your time exposing other preachers that were doing that you was doing worse things than they were.
True.
Yeah, I definitely just I ain't peeped the Tasha K dream, but I just peeped the replay when you was playing it. And from what the guy was saying that he did standing in the living room with the robe or some shit, like
Yeah, and he jacking off to him.
oh yeah, that's when I tapped out. That's when I tapped out and I was just like, you know what, Rel, you got this one. But I tapped back in, you know what I'm saying, and I'm
Now,
just
now I
like,
want to say this. There's parts that I decided to take out, and the parts that I decided to take out was the aspect of Lavontraye talking about Larry Reed really wanted to penetrate him. That's really what this was, and he wanted Lavontraye to do the same to him, and Lavontraye refused.
"Ugh."
But see, that was other rhetoric in regards to having that type of sex penetration involved, and he was underage.
Oh man, how old was he?
He was about 15, 16 years old because see, Lavontraye first met him when he was 14. Larry Reed slowly tried to groom him.
Oh, Levante, the boy Levon, what Levon? That's that nigga that was dancing in the robe or some shit.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So Larry was slowly trying to get him to have sex. And then upon him doing that, he'll tell him, "Oh, well, I guess you're gay." Oh, that don't mean you. So everything that Larry did was to make him question his sexuality. Once you make him question his sexuality, he will be more open to doing those type of acts.
Right. Bam.
He's just a predator.
Larry is flipping the story when you get a chance. His new line of defense is to say that Lavontraye was attracted to him and was pursuing him even after he got married. So that is a
Okay.
new.
Okay, so I'm glad you stated that because I heard somebody talk about that. So it doesn't matter whether Lavontraye was gay or not, because number one, if he was gay, he was not old enough to give consent. See. This is the real issue is not whether or not Lavontraye was really gay or not. So you mean to tell me you're going to admit that you allowed a 15, 16-year-old kid to pursue you and you entertained a minor?
All right.
See, no, well, in his world, in his argument, he's referencing ages 17 or 18 or in that age right there.
Okay,
I believe that's yeah.
the reason why he's doing that is because he
He's making
understands
him
the
an
law,
adult. Uh-huh.
the law. But
Hmm.
my position is this, and I'm gonna say this, I'm not trying to disparage Lavontraye, but the fact of the matter is, I think Lavontraye did more things than what he's admitting, because if he admits to those things, it's shameful, and it's a it's an X on his, it's a stab at his manhood. I actually
Hmm.
think he did more things than that. I think he did way more stuff than what he's given. I think he's specifically crafting things his words in a certain way, and he's going to only tell us so much.
So
And
wait,
look,
so did he say how long that they was involved or whatever?
it's for a few years.
Oh shit! Well, nigga, he definitely did.
This was not no one or two times or something like that. He met him when he was 14. He started having entertaining and having these interactions with him sexually, or watching him do things, getting butt naked when he was 15. This stuff happened for at least 3 years. So
Oh,
Lavontraye not telling everything. And I
yeah,
understand, I get why he's not, but he's not telling everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
3 years.
probably.
3 years. Come on, man.
Just for $60, and then you're getting paid $60 a session.
Well, that right there was crazy. That was new information that we learned that he was actually getting payment, and I think that's something that we're gonna probably see. One of the receipts that she's gonna drop in her last episodes, and I guess Larry already getting ahead. He's getting ahead of all the stuff that's gonna come out. He's trying to spin it now
Yeah.
He
before she
can't.
says it.
He
Over.
can. He can try to spin whatever he want. He not getting past this. This was more damaging than anything that
But,
Dara would have did.
but you have people that still believe him. That's what I don't understand. Can
People
you?
people like breaking the culture of silence. And I know she probably watching, sitting there talking about, you just hearing what he's saying, and he could be lying. He could tell anybody could come up and just accuse somebody. Stop. No man in their right mind is going to just live. Why would, number one, just the fact of coming out, for a man to come out and say this, that
Mhm.
another man, you know, wanted me
Yeah.
that way. No, nobody of any just going to willfully do that unless they just want the truth. Why would you risk your image just to, lie on somebody unless it's true?
So D, let me ask you this: you a therapist, you said, and you counsel people like this, right?
Right?
W- Lavontraye's accounting description, how does it compare to people that you've counseled? To me, he gives one of the most detailed description of his perpetrator.
I actually don't think it's that detailed.
Oh, it's not.
No, I think that Levante, because see, this is the difference. I'm gonna say this when I'm just I'm getting clinical, but there's a difference to me when I deal with, and also we got to understand that Lavontraye is saying things as an adult in retrospect to being a child. Okay, now I'm used to interviewing and evaluating people at the same time period, that a very close time period in which the act occurred. So if I'm interacting with a kid that's 10 years old that was molested, the molestation probably happened no more than maybe a year or two or even 6 months, or even something like that. So it's not like even though when I talk to adults, and I'm gonna say this, usually when I deal with kids who have recently, let's say they were molested as within 3 to 4 years or whatever, um, they're not going to go specific. They're not going to be so very specific about the act. They're going to be. Most kids are going to either can't say the words. They may need other means to express themselves through art, through writing. They're not going to just tell the whole story from start to finish. Most are not. Some may, but most of them don't. And even in that, there's a lot of pauses, maybe emotional outbreaks, or other distractions of things that may come out. It's not going to be a smooth flowing process. Okay. Now, when it comes to adults, the adults are more likely to be more detailed, but depending on other issues that's going on, they may not always give you the whole, like, they're not going to tell you every integral aspect of every episode that occurred. They may take some stuff out. They may miss this or miss that. They may, particularly for guys, if they were molested by another man, uh, they're not going to they're going to minimize some of the stuff that happened. And I really think he minimized some. I think there's other things that happened that he's not talking about. Now, listen, I'm just speculating. I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to diagnose or evaluate Lavontraye. But based on my experience, based on your question, and my comments are going to be basically germane to your question. Comparing him to other adults who talk about their sexual experiences, he's pretty consistent with that, with what I would deal with. But the thing about it is, in this particular situation, you under the cameras, you being interviewed as opposed to in a confidential environment. So Lavontraye has to be hyper aware of what he says and how he says it, as opposed to somebody in a confidential environment, or don't have to be that way. They could just comfortably say whatever because they know they're protected by confidentiality and other people knowing. So I believe him. I do believe what he's saying. I just believe that I believe everything that he said is true, but I also believe that there's some things that he purposely left out because of shame. He doesn't want people to know he engaged in those behaviors. That's what I personally think. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Um, when I was saying like I guess detailed, of course the way he describes stuff and what happened to him, but and in addition to that, I guess the different events, the encountings, it's like, is this like something, not a easy story to make up. I mean, the stuff that he's saying, whatever, the person would either have to have like an elaborate memory, or they experience, or they heard a story, or you know, to me, every time I hear him, it's just like you can't make this type of stuff up. It's just
No,
like
you can't. You
a
can't.
unique. His description of what happened to him is unique. I've never heard this from someone describing their predator.
Right,
So,
right.
wait. This is where I'm thinking that, okay, now we all know the church sector is known for actually being in court and all that shit,
Right.
right? Our sector, we say a bunch of lawsuits, cool, but I feel like the church sector is definitely more dominant on bringing motherfuckers to court and all that. But
We just had one. Wait a minute, just one lawsuit now. I don't know if y'all think y'all had a couple more.
I mean, yeah, we had a bunch of lawsuits, but from what I've seen from the church, oh wait, you from the church sector?
No, I'm just a spectator. I be in the comment section. Yeah.
But
Okay,
nothing has developed to like the Larry Reed, Daryl Moore saga. Nothing to that effect has happened.
so this is what I'm saying. Larry Reed is is on that suing stuff, is he going to sue Lavon, or I mean, what's the name? Lavon?
Lavontraye.
Lavontraye.
He took it back. Okay. All right. So if Larry sued and took it back or whatever, so now my question is to Lavon, why go on an interview instead of just suing or whatever? From what you like, if you didn't know you was being manipulated back then, and it was all underage and stuff, and you really trying to make a change, like why not do what Hassan Campbell was supposed to do with Bambaataa and put the predator in jail where he needs to be? I don't get it. Instead of doing an interview, instead of overall being at the police station, like I don't get it, man.
Well, again, it goes to the statute of limitations. I don't know what the statute of limitations for that state that it occurred.
So
Well, and I want to go ahead.
they said that state doesn't have any.
Well, what I would say to that is, I guess number one, and D probably can agree with this. If you are a victim of that, to relive that stuff could be very traumatic or whatever.
Yes, it can.
And for him, Lavontraye said, I mean, it's no longer traumatic for him. He's done the homework, and even when he was telling it to Tasha K, you could see him be jovial about it. Not
Right.
to the disgusting degree that Larry Reed laughs about his reported molestation or whatever, but he is at least seems like he is in a positive state and not really phased by those actions at this point in time. But the way I interpret it is even though he had the situation with Larry Reed, I don't think he holds a lot of I guess animosity. At the end of the day, it wasn't his thing to see him behind jails or whatever. Is the way I interpret it. He just, I mean, and
He just
another
he
thing, you
just
got to
speaking his truth. Okay,
go ahead.
I say he's just speaking his truth, and he's just letting the
Exactly.
people know. Right.
Exactly. He doesn't have to. He doesn't go have to take Larry Reid in court to speak his truth, and that's why he does what he does. He jumped to Darren Moore platform, Whitehead platform, and now Tasha K, and he tells his truth. And he doesn't get called into court by Larry Reid because Larry Reid to him he told Larry he knows what's up. So Reid knows what's up. So that's why he's not being dragged into court because he doesn't want to
Right.
face the truth.
Right. What's up, Chaos?
Hey, what's good?
What's up, brother? What's on your mind?
And I'm sitting back and just observing this. I thought that was Blueface. The character.
Blueface.
Yeah, they said on Tasha interviewed some person named Blueface.
Dark side, I thought he was light skinned.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have no idea about that. Okay, so
Right.
so again, guys, as I like I said, I left certain things out for a certain reason
Mhm.
because number one, it was gross. It was a little bit too vivid. I could tell as the guy constantly talked about to me, the grooming process is what stood out. Like you asking a kid, I think you'll be a misogynistic man or whatever, or you gonna be gay. Like who asks a kid that? And another thing I don't understand, like the mom, why would you allow your child? And I know we trust our pastors, but how could you just allow your child to stay with a man with the pastor with people you don't I mean you know them, but you don't know him that well to be doing all of that. And she just willfully just offered her son to the church to this guy when you allowed him to stay. And obviously he stayed there for years.
Well, D, that's the interesting thing. You gotta keep in mind that the accuser Lavontraye initially went with Shamako, came in under Shamako's wings or whatever, and under Shamako wing, I mean, like Lavontraye say, he would take a bullet for Shamako. It wasn't Shamako that did anything wrong. Now the mother, I guess, like you said, I guess we got to kind of look at the time frame at that at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
She was a single mother. The reason for she did join the church, and she was,
When
I
her father
guess
figure
this
for
was
him.
her
Yeah.
way. Exactly. This is her way of making sure her son stays on the straight and narrow by putting her under some good, I guess, guidance or whatever. But under
Right.
Shamako, everything went well. It's just the other person that was in the mix, and that I guess things went wrong. And if you can't trust your church, I guess, which
Right.
jeez.
But now this is another thing that I did not that I thought was when they talked about Larry Reed's finances. Tasha K seems to know a lot about Larry Reed's finances because she was saying that Larry Reed claimed that he was making somewhere around 40K a month, but was giving Shamarko like was
Wow.
giving Shamarko $27,000 a month. And I'm like, why is he now? If that's true, for her to say that, why would she be giving Shamarko $27,000 a month? What the hell
Uh,
is Shamarko? What the hell is Shamarko doing to get that kind of money a month?
see, now that network, you, I have not yet figured out. There's certain stuff that I can see that's going on. Um, I know Larry Reed at one point in time on CTV channel said he was speaking condescending to other YouTubers and why he don't respond. And he said, like, when you are generating $5 to $10 million a year, then you don't look down on these people or whatever. They're not on my level. So where his bank account is at, I am not necessarily sure. However, what I do see, he's able to build a studio in Atlanta. He built a studio in Miami, and he was going to build another studio in California. So you see, every you got you, you so he's generating money somewhere or wherever the case may be, and then he also has his staff or whatever that he has to pay. And Shamako is one of the people that's on the staff with a whole lot of other people. So to the degree, I think we would want to look at his recent filing to Lavontraye because he would have to disclose his money that he makes at that time and how he generates. So I haven't looked at those documents yet, but it would be in his recent filing with against Lavontraye.
Right. Because I'm just saying, man, why are you giving Shamako all this money? Does Shamako know something that he don't want nobody to, that makes no sense. What's up, BMT?
Hey, what's going on, Dito?
What's up, player?
Not too much, not too much. Well, so I guess you're doing something along the lines of um one of my criteria jobs that we handle. Um, easy. Um, we'll say allegedly. It's write off, which is off the books. Money, easy. You can easily gift it. If you gift it, it's non taxable. Send it to somebody. No different. I've seen plenty of people do it. Hell, I know people allegedly that have done it with cars, gifts. They put down the market price of how much that thing is worth, give it off as a gift. That person takes it. They take the money, and guess what? We can filter right back in. People have done it with businesses. People have done it with assets, properties, and all that. So regardless of whatever happened, it's no longer in your hand or your person. This is how a lot of people acquire or they start doing offshore with their money. They start putting this stuff. That's because it's a good laundering. Um, it's pretty good laundering. I mean, ain't nobody gonna be looking at the little guy as they watch the big guy. Um, and these kind of things do happen. Again, this is why I hate social media. It is the most horrific place in talking about trauma, traumatization, and abuse, especially of males. It's very horrendous because of how it's looked at and taken care of. The woman Tasha K does not see this person or this type of incident as that of a horrific story to probably get these people help
True,
more than just trying to make a coin. I could
true,
probably imagine, and this is what I'm saying. Uh, this is where we start losing that empathy of what happens to black male boys when these stories come about and happen, and they don't speak up or say anything. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Well, somebody got abused. Well, I don't want to. They don't want to come out because one, they face that of the ridicule. Are you going to be homosexual? Are you going to be this that? Can we trust you around other boys now that you have been groomed or destroyed? See, these kind of things of horrific stereotypes are put on black male boys, and so. And this is not something of a gender thing I'm pointing out, but it was very drastically, disgustingly handled by that of Tasha K. Again, this is why it's best
Okay.
left. This is why it's best left to the professionals to talk or handle these kind of things, rather than black people. We got to stop getting on social media and having these conversations. That should have been something that should have been handled. Granted, everybody like, wow, they want to look at the document, they want to look at this and that. But sometimes these kind of things of healing and getting proper treatment and help are better. They're better handled. Um, they're better handled when you handle behind closed doors. Like even after cases or after court, you should still send the victim to go get treatment, so that way they can try to start healing their life. So
Right.
that's one thing I hope. Like that's what I said. This Tasha K woman does not care for that of the victim or the participant. It's no more than just a lick. This is a bad stain look upon that of black establishment churches and stuff. I know everybody looks for, oh well, let's beat up the church, the church, the church. Cool, I get it, but people still go there for some type of camaraderie of black unity, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. But I'm not trying to band together on anything like that, but we're too quick to tear down our establishment or whatever we got left. So I don't know what else. I think this is probably why the nation and different other groups do not like letting their incidents get too public. The church, the Christian church, they get all public with their stuff. But everything else, nah, nah. We let's put it out there on Front Street. And this is pretty sad. So that's all I gotta say.
All right, all right. You said a lot. You definitely said a lot, and you talked about the fact of how Tasha K feels towards the victims and people. I mean, I get it. She's doing her job as a content creator, whatever that may be defined as. And you know, my position is this: I question any situation in which you was rocking with somebody for a certain period of time, then things go wrong, and now you become the person trying to do them in. Like we all know, Tasha K and Larry Reed been friends for a while. Also, people don't know. Don't you know Larry Reed was on the lead attorney's channel s-
When?
several
Really?
times?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Not recently, right?
I mean not Tasha. Yeah, Larry Reed was on the lead attorney's
TLA?
channel at least twice that I can remember.
He was, he was recently in Larry Reed's comment section. I think the day before he was about to do the Patreon things. I think I saw him recently. Within the past 2 weeks, he was in there and he was supporting Larry Reed.
Yeah, yeah. So he was there multiple times, and Tasha K last year that was her ace. So how you go from ace to the basement? We got to evaluate the dynamics of these guys' relationships.
Well,
I mean, that's a hard thing to come from when you basically got to eat words in order to support somebody. And now we find out that's what it felt like.
Well,
Hmm.
Tasha is trying to do public damage control in terms of her participation from the beginning, because she cannot lie. She can't say that she didn't know. Well, she can say it, but it would be dishonest, because when this was all going down, Daryl Moore was soliciting everybody. He was reaching out to everybody. He was hitting Tasha K platform up. He was hitting up all the major YouTube bloggers to come look what I got, and she did not, she was not a part of it. She was not here to hear it. And the it was unfortunate. That's why Larry wanted so hard to keep hold of Natasha, because it's better to have her as a friend than an enemy, because now we see what has happened with that. To the gentleman who just spoke, I totally agree with you. Tasha K is not. I think she's more about getting at Larry as opposed to focusing on the victim, which is why I kind of didn't like Whitehead's handling of the story, because they all just was about getting back at Larry, and the victim story got lost in the shuffle, and people around, and then Larry was able to use Tasha K and Whitehead's vindictive as them to undermine the accuser story, which is not good for him. So
Right.
Lavontraye should have probably chosen. He could have chosen better people to present a story on, but a platform on. But I mean, those were the people that were out there reaching for him, and I guess that's what he was. I guess at the end of the day, cool with that. But
Right.
But
Right. Right. Right.
but it's much more problematic. Katasha was a victim of her own abuse and have abusers on her platform. Ain't that something?
yep.
Yeah. So they have it. She's already in enough trouble already. If y'all know the scoop of Tasha, I'm gonna give you a little scoop. She's about to get really hit up by other celebrities right now as we speak. Cause you know the thing with R. Kelly. Let's
Right.
just say that her so-called trying to get notice and fame kind of fumbled that problematic thing with R. Kelly that he might have a legit reason to get out of prison.
Right. 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 It's very interesting. Very interesting dynamics that have developed. It's just a lot, and we're gonna. And to me, the story is not over on this. So I am human first. Let me ask you this question, because I want to know, and I'm pretty sure you did. You watched this. I know you may have been in the clouds, but it's a my little stalker in Houston did a live last night, and he actually played snippets of stuff. Did you watch his respective to which what was said?
No, I know he did something on you a couple of days ago, well, a couple you last week or whatever, but I haven't seen his. I've been trying to tap in to catch him, but I guess if you saying there's something out there new, I definitely I'll catch it. Be my next stop. What's going on?
Right, right.
What's going on? What do
So
you say?
well, he basically played. He actually played the video. He didn't. I did the audio. I was going to play the audio, the video too, but you all, told me not to do it because she flagged whatever. But he played the video.
Oh, Tasha K's video.
Yeah, of interviewing Lavontraye, and he criticized, of course, the words that she was saying, and telling her, and basically was telling her that we all know, you're here for whatever, different things and stuff. I mean, he gave his perspective to me. He took the snippet and made it all Daryl Moore's fault.
Okay, that's what they do. See. That's
Yeah.
when you have a bad source that's presenting the story. The victim story gets lost in the mush because you're looking at who's doing the interview as opposed to focusing on the story. And CTV and Larry has done a good job in making people focus on Whitehead, Daryl Moore, and Tasha, instead of the very detailed and legit story that this dude is putting forth. So that's crazy.
I hear that. Yeah. So basically, he did probably about an hour, maybe 45 or hour to hour 30, and he played the video, played his excerpts, and he gave his convoluted perspective of why things happen. And basically, he didn't do anything different than if she would have um hung out with other. I mean, he. I'm gonna just say this: he's gonna protect Larry Reed no matter what. That's what it
Okay.
boils down to. So
Okay.
it's so he, even though all this happened, he's gonna support Larry Reed. So that really what it boils down to. So
Well,
so any last words about the video itself? I'm going to go ahead and tap out at the 2 minute mark, but I am curious to see if I like, because you seem very aware of a lot that goes on in this particular situation, and some of this stuff, particularly um, the guy that sent me the I because I had got a link from someone about the stuff about Larry Reed today, and if I didn't get that link, I wouldn't have known what he said. You know, and the content creator that did the content per se. So
Which information on Larry are you talking about?
I'm looking right now because I'm trying to see the
Is
link
it
that
his
I got.
big?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it the big interview that he did earlier this week?
Yeah, it was a little bit about that, and it was also about Larry Reed responding to
Okay.
things. Yeah, so it was kind of a mixture of that. But more people are going to be talking out about this. Um,
Yeah.
about this situation, and I know there's people that see Tasha K in a certain way. They see, you know, then they're saying stuff about Bishop Whitehead is the one who rejuvenated this story and shit. And like, no, he didn't. This story was an ongoing thing that, you know, people still thought about and talked about. So um that's kind of the perspective I'm going from. We'll see what happens with him. He had, with the rest of this, and more stuff is going to come out. As you said today, he basically said a lot of stuff that hurt him. So he's probably going to be bound to say even more things next week and so on. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. In closing, yeah. So I heard piece of it. Like, if anyone wants to hear what Larry Reed said behind Patreon, Kate played a lot of it today. When I heard that mess, Larry Reed might get his first $12 from me because that stuff was, I need to hear everything that he said. And the second thing I want to say to you, speaking of Calm, I think it's official. Calm and CTV is officially falling out. So I'm surprised that he still Larry Reed
Falling
because
out.
yeah, CTV last time Andrea was on his platform, he I guess CT I mean Khan was upset that CTV welcomed her back and like said she was still part of the section and whatever, and Khan was like, as long as she's a part of the platform, I don't want to be here. And since then he hasn't been over there in a week. And when CT was rolling down his list of friends, he didn't even shout out Calm at all. So I think is that relationship is officially a wrap.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So
Oh,
I
shit.
gave you a little exclusive there, but I thank you
Oh
for having me to this evening.
wow. That's my little
And
content. I may have to comment on that. So now he's a man without a country. He just laying low by himself, struggling,
yep, he's by himself exactly.
struggling on his own.
But yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for having me up, and good night to you fellas.
Appreciate it.
All
All
right,
right.
peace.
Anything chaos? I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up, brother.
Um, can we do this thing either Sunday or something? I really want to deal with it personally, and
What
have you.
thing?
The thing with Omar.
Yeah, we'll do that on Sunday. That's fine.
Okay, all right. I'll text you. I'm not sure if you want me to do it early, but I'll probably do it late 9:30 at most.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, I'll text you and give you a reminder. All right, that's good.
All right, player.
Thank
All
you, man.
right, guys. All right, you're welcome. All right, guys. I'm about to get out of here. I gave my perspective on things, and everybody can draw their own conclusions about the audio that was presented. And I basically looked at certain aspects of the interview to create my own perspective and narrative about what happened and upcoming news that will, that's influenced by this. So with that being said, guys, y'all have a great night. I will be doing content throughout the weekend. Peace.